Hi guys, how are you doing today? So, I had just a great epiphany I wanted to share with you, and it's something that has to do with your growth and prioritizing your growth versus everything else that's going on in your life. I know this can be a major challenge oftentimes that we have so many things going on in our lives, like family, relationships, maybe a partner, maybe your job or your business, maybe your academics, depending on where you are right now in life. And then all of these things require so much of your time that sometimes it's really difficult to find a time in your day-to-day life for your practices, for your personal development. And especially if you do yoga or meditation, these things, they take time and they require certain focus. So how can you make sure that you have that focus and that you can keep it up in the midst of all the craziness and that's going on in your life? Because one thing is, when you keep that priority high, then life can become very simple. And I find that there's a huge power in simplicity and in focusing on the essential. So one thing is to really realize that we are here in this form, in this human form on this planet, for a very limited amount of time, okay? And we kind of know this, but then I feel we oftentimes forget this in daily life. At least I find myself oftentimes still, that I have this somewhere as an intellectual idea, but I'm not like filled with the experiential realization that this life, like I know it right now, is going to be over very soon. And however many years I have left, this is just like a snap in the in the context of the universe. So when you give disproportionate amount of importance in your life to things that are temporary by their nature, which includes basically everything. If you look at it, it includes like material things to begin with. It includes any kind of relationships, even like your family, your closest partner, your friends, all of that. And it includes even your own body. So anything physical really is very limited. So while there's nothing wrong to kind of try to make these things in a the most beautiful way possible, I think we should just not prioritize them too much at the cost of our own personal growth and our spiritual kind of evolution growth. So because if we do this, if we give disproportionate amount of importance to, let's say, material things like even money, or you're trying to afford certain things just because you think you want to keep up with your neighbor, with what expectations of other people. You want to try to get a certain amount of like money to buy a house, to buy a nice car. Nothing wrong with these things, but if they come at the cost of the other thing, then it's like this. Imagine you go on a race, okay? And the race is going to be like the first 100 meters of the race you can use your car. And then like a triathlon, basically. In a triathlon you start by I don't know the sequence actually, but I think you start by riding the bicycle, then you run, and then you swim, or the other way around. So imagine that you run a triathlon where the duration is just changed. So let's say the first 100 meter, or let's say the first kilometer, you can only use your bicycle, and then after that it's like, you know, 100 kilometers you running, like an ultra marathon. Or let's make it even more extreme, you know, let's say it's like, yeah, 1 kilometer on the bike, and then, you know, 1,000 kilometers you running, and that running might be over several weeks, and then another 1,000 kilometers you have to swim. So if you try to go on that race and you want to prepare for it, like, how much sense would it make for you to really spend all your time, all your preparation time, just on trying to get the best bicycle that you can have? Imagine like you have, you know, 1 year to prepare for that race, and, or let's not call it a race, that might give a wrong idea, let's call it a journey, simply a journey. And you have 1 year to prepare for that journey where like only 0.1% of the duration or the length is used by a bicycle, and the whole year you just try to get the best bicycle possible, and you just try practice riding the bicycle. Like, how well are you prepared for that journey when it comes to start it? Because in many ways that's what we kind of do, you know, like in this physical realm our time is kind of very limited, and you know, whatever comes after we don't really know, but for sure there's some part where it's like, you know, something happens after the physical, something happens outside the physical realm. Maybe we return to it, we don't really know, but we know for sure that there's something beyond it. And how much are we really, you know, dedicating to that in our day-to-day life? Like, how much time are you preparing your physical body? When we go back to the example for the journey where, you know, 1,000 kilometers you need to just use your physical body, running, and then 1,000 meters like swimming. If you don't prepare anything for that part, then, you know, your journey is kind of lost before you even started. There's no way you're gonna make it if you just spend all that year preparation on trying to get the best bicycle possible. It's, you know, lost before you even started. So I feel that that kind of perspective can help us even in our daily lives to keep the priorities straight. Because everything that's kind of, you know, if we look at society, if you look at how people live around you, then if we just live by that standard, it's kind of crazy, because it's all about, you know, just trying to get the best bicycle possible. And while I don't think there's anything wrong with getting a good bike or you know, anything material, it should never come as a compromise. It should never come like you know, in a stressful way. It should never come by sacrificing your growth. So I think that way we can keep it in perspective, and we can give it the importance that it kind of deserves. We can play with it. That's like how I want to look at it. It's something to play with, but not something to stress about. And I find this helpful, and this was a realization that just this kind of example came to me today when I was looking at the mountains and thought, this is yeah, let me know if this is something that you find helpful. Let me know where you are on your journey, on your preparation for the big journey. What are your priorities right now in life? What do you think you can do to maybe refocus your priorities? Leave a comment below. I would love to read it, guys. Write it in the comments and give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed this video. And make sure you subscribe to the channel. I post a new video every week. Share it with your friends who are interested in this, and looking forward to see you next week. Bye, guys.